Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to a great episode of CSGO News. All the stories and time markers are down below in the description for all of you. I hope you all enjoy as well, as we have a huge story today about Evil Geniuses and how they've never come to have a CSGO roster. They've had former CSGO, Counter-Strike rosters, but never CSGO. I'm going to talk a big story today, later on in today's episode. Look at the time marker down below. I hope you guys all watched that particular story about Evil Geniuses in the North American CSGO scene and why they never got into it. Now, our first story today, though, also a big one, is the reverted bans of Tyloo. Many of you know, early January, just about a month ago, we had several of the Tyloo players, including their coach, actually banned and put on the inactive roster because they were negotiating with other CSGO teams and trying to join other teams or negotiate contracts with them. No, those players were not Mo and DD. Mo and DD were the only two players who made it out of this conflict alive and actually on that current roster as of right now. They still are. It came out for DreamHack Las Vegas, which starts in 5 days. They will actually be returning somebody in Fancy to that roster. Now, initially, it was somebody who was actually banned from the roster, and it was actually Attacker and Fancy who were put on the inactive roster. Now, as of right now, Attacker is the only one of those three players who will not be returning to the current Tyloo roster as of this point in time. Karsa, their coach, was also fired. He will not be returning. So as of right now, for DreamHack Las Vegas, it will be Mo and DD in this current roster on screen right now, followed by somebody in Fancy, and their fifth player who will be replacing Attacker as of right now will be a current Team AG player known as HZ. So that's the Tyloo roster going into DreamHack Las Vegas. Obviously one of those broken rosters because over half their team was banned, and now they're back together. So a really weird scene. I think if it was any scene besides the Chinese CSGO scene, everyone would be freaking out right now. So as of right now, 4 of their 5 players are back, but Attacker actually released his public statement a few days ago about his apology. He apologized, went into brief detail about his regrets about trying to negotiate with contracts and disrespecting his organization, but as of right now, Tyloo is sticking to his inactive ban. We also actually have announcements as well from this Twitter on screen, actually is inside information in the Chinese CSGO scene. If you guys don't believe it, he's leaked stuff before. As of right now, somebody in Fancy have actually signed contracts with Tyloo until 2019, so we can assume everyone is contracted but Attacker, and maybe I can't help but think in the Chinese CSGO scene, in a world full of respect, maybe Attacker was the last person to apologize, maybe he was the last person to say something or speak out, and that's why they're currently benching him. But as of right now, Tyloo is still broken, but the whole bans have been reverted, which is kind of dramatic. Now moving on, I want to address our first big CSGO news story in a long time. I say big story because it's going to be probably a long one, so again, time markers down below for all of you, but I want to talk about why Evil Geniuses never got into a CSGO team, even though they've had ventures not only in other esports, other popular esports, making plenty of money for the organization, but they also ventured off into Counter-Strike Source. They had several teams over there, but never got into CSGO, obviously the most well-known Counter-Strike game, at least the most played and has the most prize pool. Why they would never get involved with that, no one ever necessarily knew, because they were so heavily involved in the esports scene. They easily could have had a top North American team or a top team in this scene. So people wondering why that was, I want to give you guys all the evidence as to why we thought Evil Geniuses was going to try and hint and actually pick up a CSGO team, and why that never came through. So kind of interesting story for all of you who are fans of Evil Geniuses, whether it's from StarCraft or Street Fighter or Dota 2. They have great teams in all of those. I want to talk about back in mid to late 2014, where they had several people tweeting at them. They responded to these tweets, or they tweet out things like this, which severely hinted at, heavily speculated towards them picking up a Counter-Strike Global Offensive team. Now, why they never did, though, apparently why it fell through, I'll talk about that in a little bit. Those tweets directly hint and correlate, like, it's not dead, it's still alive, we have stuff coming soon. Definitely hints at them having a CSGO team. Now, also, we also in early 2015, they actually had a 5-man roster on screen right now. We actually had one of these, they were playing in several CSGO tournaments. Many of you know this actual roster on screen composed of 4 of the 5 Ex-iBuyPower members. That include Daze, Swag, we also had AZK and Skadoodle, and their 5th member who was not Ex-iBuyPower, at least from the match fixing days, that was Hiko, their IGL. This 5-man roster is playing around in several CSGO tournaments and tournaments together. One of those tournaments was to be MLG Aspen. Now, many of you know about this, the tagline, "We're going to Aspen." It was very well known, especially with all these. It was going to happen in early January of 2015. Now, accordingly, before they actually went to MLG Aspen, they changed their name in the actual MLG Aspen roster to Wicked Masterminds. Now, again, another not so subtle hint here. People thought when they changed their team name to Wicked Masterminds, a direct correlation, if you say it, slowly and back together, Wicked Masterminds, Evil Geniuses. People thought a synonym there, maybe a speculative story as to Evil Geniuses going to pick up this 5-man roster, which would have made sense. One of the better, 5-man North American rosters would have been a great North American roster in the future if early 2015 hadn't rolled around, where the same time MLG Aspen came around, the story started to surface about the match fixing of Ex-iBuyPower. Of course, with 4 of their 5 members being from the Ex-iBuyPower roster, the team disbanded, and with that, the potential offer from Evil Geniuses signing the CSGO team back in 2015. So Hiko continues on, Skadoodle goes free, the other 3 guys do get banned eventually, and the Evil Genius offer continues to be delayed back from 2014 when the tweets came out, now 2015 with the Ex-iBuyPower roster, which they were potentially going to sign. Not confirmed though, and now we hop into 2016 and 2017. EG still not involved in the CSGO scene. Now ever since then, they were actually bought out by Twitch TV, the streaming service, very popular, the most popular streaming service in the world, many of you know about, and now we have this YouTuber on screen right now. I will also link his video down below and his channel for all of you to go check out. He is actually one of the longest term members of the Evil Genius organization of all time. He goes by the name of iNcontrol. He's been playing with all of these EG organization from StarCraft days. He was a former StarCraft pro for over 8 years. So one of your oldest pro players in the EG organization. He released a historical series on YouTube. I'll link that down below, the video for all of you, where this actual evidence came from. A great series, where a short 3-part, 4-part series where he talks about his history within Evil Geniuses, and he actually goes on to state about the Counter-Strike team, where Evil Geniuses was going to actually sign a North American, or at least the Counter-Strike Global Offensive roster, but never got to because they were bought out by Twitch. And why this hindered them was because other North American, other organizations had found out that Evil Geniuses was going to get into CSGO, and they were owned by Twitch. Obviously, Twitch could have had a preferential treatment there, where maybe they favored their own team if they actually, Evil Geniuses got a CSGO roster. Other orgs and their owners thought, hey, that's not fair. You're owned by Twitch. They're going to favoritize you. That's not fair whatsoever. Now, apparently, according to iNcontrol and iNcontrol only, this is actually further denied by these owners themselves. I think Cloud9's owner actually denied this in a Reddit post. He actually goes on to state that these owners threatened to boycott Twitch within their organizations, meaning all of their players, all of their events. They were going to try and boycott those so their streamers would not actually use Twitch services any longer. And that is why the Evil Geniuses CSGO roster has still fallen through for the past 3 or 4 years. And that's why we may never see an Evil Genius roster. Now, while this story just interested me to the actual brim, first off, I'll show you guys a clip of iNcontrol right now.
When they were acquired, there was an immediate subtle tremor that went through esports, but it was not subtle on the behind-the-scenes level. A lot of people were like, EG owned by Twitch, how the hell is Twitch not going to be mega biased towards this one competitive team? Like,
so you all know I'm a North American fanboy. Now, not necessarily being a North American roster, I don't care if the team was all North American, but either way, I love CSGO. It's a game I've actually fallen in love with over the past year and a half, so I would love to see a great team, and I, of course, would have loved to see the Ex-iBuyPower guys signed by Evil Geniuses if they never would have been, banned for match fixing. It's my own personal interest to see, the best teams play CSGO, the best organizations have the best teams out there, and if this were to be true, now, again, all these owners have actually further denied the statements by iNcontrol, say he had false evidence. I don't know where he got this word of mouth from. People deny this, but if it were to be true, which it definitely could be, Evil Geniuses still has no CSGO team. I would love to see a better org out there sign a better team, and that's why I share it with all of you. That is currently why Evil Geniuses has never had a CSGO team. Now on to our last stories for today of all of you. First off, I do briefly want to mention I had speculation when it first came out. We did announce FaZe Niko officially replacing AZ over there. Kind of a weird FaZe Clan story as of right now because J-Keem was in ESL Pro League for the first 2 weeks, and they were doing decently with him and actually quite well. Of course, we also had some other trades going on. Envyus picking up Scream again. Not, we had the G2 French super team who was not doing very well in ESL Pro League, but Envyus do secure Scream. Who knows what the buyout price was there? And then, of course, we did have Mouse Sports Niko leaving Mouse Sports, which is absolutely incredible. You got to really feel bad for Mouse Sports over there. They lost a great guy there, and you're gonna be a hurt team, obviously a hurt roster. We'll have to be really cool to see how FaZe does in the future with him. So some big changes obviously happening in the CSGO scene. Apart from that, though, we also had Yee Lmao banned on Twitter for a short amount of time. I was checking Twitter. I saw his tweets. Right when it first happened, I was going to wait for him to become unbanned. And yes, guys, do not worry. I'll link his Twitter down below for all of you. The great leaker, Yee Lmao. He was banned on Twitter. His actual account was suspended for a short amount of time. And just a quick update, a live update for CSGO News for all of you. Just now, as I'm actually editing my video, this clip where I was just talking about Yee Lmao, I was going to talk about how he got suspended. He got his account back. He actually tweeted out about how he had several accounts linked to his, so that's why he got banned in the first place. but it now seems he is actually rebanned and resuspended. You go to his Twitter or his previous Twitter, Yee_Lmao1. Why I'm talking about this is he was a great leaker. You know, I think he was even faster than Decay. Decay uses him as a source as a lot, so you guys have heard about his name, obviously. He is now resuspended on Twitter. When he first actually got banned on Twitter for the first time, not the second time, which was just a few minutes ago, he actually said he would be sticking to WikiLeaks and sticking to HLTV. So this could be the end of the dawn. Yee, I hope you come back to Twitter, man, and hopefully get your account back. But as of right now, I do believe, not 100% confirmed, he has been resuspended on Twitter for apparently no reasons. All we have right now for the CSGO world, when all these casters and analysts are actually super busy, there is really no content coming out for CSGO podcast-wise or lengthy videos, because Thorin's busy, we got Richard Lewis who's busy, Moses and Semler and all the On Fire guys, they're all busy as well, and there's no content coming out, and I am desperate. So that is why tomorrow I will be uploading a 50-minute episode with Dan M. The Dan M interview will be live tomorrow. I hope you all enjoy that episode. Going to be a great episode of CSGO news. So yeah, the Dan M interview, the personal interview, will be 50 minutes long. I'm going to upload all of that tomorrow. That is Sunday for all of you, so it should be a great time. I hope you all enjoy that interview, and I hope you guys all enjoyed today's episode of CSGO News. As always, remember, I, like you, if you guys are watching this right now, I will be live streaming as you guys are watching this, and I'll be giving away 2 more AK-47 Vulcans. So, hope you all enjoy this episode of CSGO News. As always, remember, I like you, live, love, laugh, lot. I'll see you guys all tomorrow with a great episode of Dan M interview on the gear, and as always, remember, I like you.